Hello, Bob here. Still working on this Stepvan. I'm going to try to hold still. I did this video once before and it just kind of seemed like I moved around so much, so I'm going to try to take it easy. There's a fuzzy thing I put on because it's windy. I put on the microphone so hopefully it doesn't interfere with see if I can mess with it here. I don't know. It's too weighty. Sorry to bother this here. Okay, I'm back. Well, so here's where I'm at. I got the engine in. That's the small block Chevy. It's a 350 bore 30 over, so 380, however you call it. 4L80E transmission. It's a 4-speed. Basically, it's like the newer version of a turbo Hydromatic 400. You know, the TH400, but this has an overdrive gear, which I have a TH400 and I couldn't use it because it was no better than the stick shift as far as the gears were concerned. This one here gives me highway gears so I can get better gas mileage. Don't mind the crappy valve covers. I have these on here so I can adjust the rockers when I get to that spot. I just put tape on them so nothing will get in there. I shouldn't even mess with it yet. But anyways, still got stuff I got to do up here. Got a whole lot to do down here. Got some wiring to do for the US shift transmission module. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it. I think the floor shifter I'm going to put right here. It's a little console shifter. I'm going to build a little box to make it stand up a little bit higher to right about here where I can shift it. And then maybe I'll put the transmission module on the side of it or somewhere kind of out of sight, out of mind, where the wires could reach everything in here. Anyways, I guess. So, of course, I got to add the starter. I have exhaust manifolds I'm going to put on temporarily just for startup and to get the break-in stuff done. And you know, I have the original exhaust that came out of this vehicle as a 2-in-1, which is both sides into one pipe. And that's going to hook up to the muffler you see down there, which is already kind of, most piping's there. I'm just going to splice it and then tie it back together. The coupler just to get me through the break-in stuff. And let me fix this microphone here. So that's where I'm at with that. I still have the whole front end of this stuff I need to install. The alternator, the power steering pump, all that stuff. The motor mounts. You know, when I put in the engine, I should have had help. I did it by myself. But the fuel pump, the little fitting on the bottom, I accidentally hit it on the frame. It bent it, so I'm hoping it's not going to mess anything up. It looked kind of kinked, but I looked at the stock one because of the way that bend is. It's kind of kinked anyway, so I don't think it's going to bother me. It's on the suction side of the pump, not the discharge, so should be fine with that. And I have the dipstick for this new transmission, new used, and it goes down there, hooks up here, and that'll give me that. The torque converter to the flywheel, there's a gap there I have to set. I don't know if anybody watching this, I don't know what channel I'm going to put this on, my locksmith channel or my Stepvan channel. But we can look at these torque converters. There was a gap there you gotta have. Anyways, I kind of have it where it's there's probably maybe less than a quarter, maybe it's about 3/16. But you have to have a gap there though, so you push your torque converter all the way in and then you pull it out, and then actually you push it all the way in, and then whatever that gap is, you want to make sure that you have at least an 1/8 inch gap, so you'll, whatever this gap is right now, I'm going to try to get up to about 3/16, 1/8 to 3/16. You need a little, at least like an 1/8 inch gap on this side, and you don't want it really pushing up against the flywheel either too hard, because it'll push on your drive shaft, not the drive shaft, I'm sorry, but your crankshaft. And so I still got the drive shaft here I got to deal with. I measured the bottom, the end of this output shaft to the transmission. Sorry, I moved my camera around. I got to put a seal in here too, by the way. I didn't realize that until after I already put it in, but it's not hard to get to down here. And so I measured that spot to the center where the carrier bearing goes. That's a 47.5 inch. This is a 2-piece drive shaft, so I got to get the rear mount off here. Let me, please excuse me moving around the camera. This is important because this is seized up. It's just kind of how it goes on all vehicles. The U-bolts, the U-joint here, there's like a U-bolt. It's flattened out, and these are hardened steel, so it's kind of seized on there. I used some Croil last night, hoping to kind of break it loose. But I'm going to go ahead and get a hammer and chisel and see if I can knock it loose. Hopefully it hasn't welded itself completely. And I mean, I can cut them and just buy some new ones, but it's just another thing I got to figure out. They're like a grade 8 or maybe harder, I don't know how these are. But then, like I said, I'm going to have another drive shaft made, which is 47.5 inch. And then the transmission to the carrier bearing, but and they got to figure out this piece right here. So that's something they usually take care of. I think that slides that out on there. So that's kind of where that's at. Let me get out of here. Sorry for moving the camera around too much. Trying not to. And then from the front, I'm going to use the old factory hoses. They were fairly new when I pulled the engine out to begin with. These were just temporaries, you know, to get that straight 6 going, because this was not stock, you know, set up for that straight 6. This vehicle actually would have came with the straight 6 or all the way up to a 454. I think even the smaller, I had a 292 straight 6 in it. This V is what was stock in it, but I think the 250 was the 260 cubic inch straight 6 was the other one that was in it. But for the hose, I'm going to put in what's supposed to be for the small block Chevy. And I'm debating on whether I'm going to use a stock fan or just stay electric. I'll probably use a stock fan just until I get through all the break-in and see how my temperatures run. And let's see, I got to do my alternator, the power steering pump. I got the brackets in the garage somewhere. And I've got to put the starter in down in the back there, which is not hard to get to. I have all the wires pretty much run in a way that it's easy to do. Here's all my starter wires. It's on a loom, and here's my coil wires all right there. There goes my distributor coil. Now I'm going to use the old coil, the old distributor that uses the points and condenser. Some people don't like them. I mean, I think what do you call it? HEI, electronic ignition is more user friendly, but you know, I don't know. I like old point style for some reason. Just they're not that complicated once you set your points the way they're supposed to be, and then of course, I've had problems with condensers going bad, but in the coil, but they're easy to get to. With this doghouse, like this dude, if you got an electronic ignition goes bad, it's bad. You know, you got to replace quite a bit. But the points condenser, it's usually the points of the condenser, you know, that I got to replace. The coil, I have extra coils too. So, but I'm going to put the distributor in it. I'm going to prime it up, drop the distributor in it. Go ahead and rotate the flex plate, you know, torque converter around to get all the bolts in and the gap set on that, and then get it back on where I know it's on number 1 on the distributor, and then I'll probably leave it in there until I get everything else put back the way I want it, and then I will pull the distributor back out, reprime it, drop it back in, and then I do have to do the carburetor too, which we'll have to have a throttle position sensor on it, and I have everything to do all that. I just my main goal was to get this all put in, and I still have the transmission up on jacks, on a jack anyways. The motor mounts are in on the motor, but I don't have I got the transmission up on that jack right there, just holding it up, and it's too high. I need to lower it down, but you know, I just haven't got that point. I'm going to go ahead and do the drive shaft, get the drive shaft set to the right length, and then I will go on ahead and lower it down the way I want it. So So that be that. And that's it. That's where I'm at right now. Got a heck of a mess in my garage, but it's getting this out of there. It's actually giving me some more room now. And everything fit pretty good. I was able to drop it in by myself. My son was going to help me, but he kept getting tied up doing stuff, so I thought, well, I'll just do it. And when I get to a spot where I need to stop and wait, then I'll let him know. But yeah, it wasn't no big deal. I was able to do it. I got the fittings for the 4LED for the transmission cooler lines to go up to the radiator. This radiator, fortunately, has the transmission cooler jacket. Actually, it's just the top fitting and the bottom fitting are just one tube tied together, and it just goes through the antifreeze, reservoir right there. So that's how that works. And then I don't have a speedometer that will mount to this because these were normally electronic. I still have my satellite speedometer right there, so that will actually tell me my speed. That other one there is my camera for this. So anyways, I don't think I really have anything else. No, it's not that one. I'm sorry, this camera here goes to there's another camera in the back that I had before I bought this one up here, and this is Jansenite. The other one is Peak, the antifreeze company. It was just on sale, bargain, but I'm gonna get a whole gauge trio and put them all together. I have the oil, the ammeter, and then the radiator, or the antifreeze temperature gauge, and then I also have a vacuum gauge I'm gonna put together. So it won't be a trio; it'll be the four gauge combo. And so that's where I'm at. I'm just slowly putting it back together. I'm at a spot where if I need to close the door and just turn the lights on in here, I can do that and work from inside here, most of it. My main thing right now is to get a drive shaft, or the rest of the way off, so I can go get it fit up. Once I get that fit up, then I know the rest of it's just coming together. But I'm hoping I don't have to keep fighting that drive shaft piece, so I don't want to put heat on it. Anyways, that's just part of the fun. I got a big lock job I got to do. I'm waiting on parts, but they want 9 deadbolts installed, and they want them all electronic. And the rest of their house is quick set, so we went with quick set deadbolt. It had smart key, so the rekey part, I mean that's easy. But I got like 9 holes to drill and 9 different doors. My son's working with me, so he'll be busy. He'll definitely be busy. Alright, well, I think that's all I'm going to say right now. This is about almost 13 minutes long, so I've already filmed this once before and it shook around so much. Hopefully this wasn't so shaky, so I thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.